This video reviews the historical aspects of the ISO 29481-1 Information Delivery Manual IDM. In 1970s, there was less than a handful of CAD software applications. In the 1970s, data exchange between even a small number of CAD applications was a headache, and it took a lot of time to develop translators between them. So one day, NASA called everybody up and asked them to develop one single data format which would allow them to exchange CAD data with a limited number of translators. And the format became IGES, Initial Graphics Exchange Specifications. As its name represents, IGES focused only on the graphic aspects of information. VDAFS is also format that was used to exchange graphic information. But people soon realized that they also needed to exchange object definitions with the growth of object-oriented programming and parametric and feature-based modeling systems in the 1980s. So they started something called PDES, Product Data Exchange Specification. So as you can see, the name specification came from IGES, the Initial Graphics Exchange Specification. And the PDES effort became the beginning of ISO effort, ISO 10303, STEP effort. It began in 1984, and the first standard was submitted in 1988. Just like us, they learned that there cannot be one single data format to support all different use cases, and they referred the different use cases as application protocols, APs. So some examples of AP includes such as explicit drafting or associative drafting, configuration, control, 3D design of mechanical parts and assemblies, and so it's very specific. It focuses on very specific use cases. And then they started thinking that if they have a small packaged AP elements or subset of a larger data model, then they can reuse the small subset data model over and over. And they named it as conformance class or conformance classes, CC, which is very similar to the concept of MVD or micro MVD in our term. ISO STEP defines a process to develop an application protocol in a very specific way. So the first step is to define application activity model, AAM. AAM includes information requirements and usage scenario. And the usage scenario is defined using IDEP0, which is a use case modeling notation. The next step is to define an application interpreted model, AIM. It's a data model. AIM is a data model, final data model, and it's defined using Express. However, there was a giant leap between these two steps. Application reference model layer, ARM. So they used these two concepts to distinguish conceptual data model from logical data model, which is a very common distinction between different levels of data models. And for conceptual model, ARM, they used IDEP1X, which is a data modeling notation for ARM. The distinction between conceptual and logical data model came from computer science data modeling community. They categorize or distinguish conceptual model, only concept data model, from logical model, and then the final physical data model, which is data model implemented, which can be implemented on a system. However, this is not a new concept, but a very typical software engineering process. So any software engineering process, including data modeling, starts from requirements analysis or requirements collection and analysis. Second step is system design or data modeling, implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance. This model is referred to as Waterfall model. Probably you have already recognized where IDM came from. So IDM is an application activity model, AAM, with a little bit of application reference model, ARM. MVD is an application interpreted model, AIM, or a subset of AIM, which is called module interpreted model, MIM, and a little bit of ARM. Technically speaking, AIM can also be a full data schema such as the IFC schema and an extension model such as the IFC bridge extension model, as well as a model view definition, MVD. Also, application protocol is closer to an extension model than a subset model such as MVD. Since the topic of this presentation is the history of IDM and MVD, I'll simply focus on MVD. So in Information Delivery Manual, exchange information requirements is referred to as ER, and usage scenario or use cases is referred to as UC, and process map is referred to as PM. And it uses BPMN as a standard process map annotation. And for data modeling, model view definition, it's still expresses the standard modeling language, although Building Smart International is thinking about changing the standard data modeling language to XML-based languages. The term model view definition or model view came from data modeling community. So let's say that we have, let me give you an example. Let's say that we have a cost estimation database from 1950 to 2018. And we can take a look at the entire data set, but let's say that we are only interested in a data set in 1996. Then we call this cross-section of the data set a view or model view. So model view definition is the schema that represents this view. An MVD can have small subsets, which is similar to the concept of conformance classes. Micro MVD. So it's very comparable. The concepts are very comparable with those of application protocol. When did IDM start? Already in 1994, there was a conference entitled European Conference on Process and Product Modeling. It wasn't directly associated with IDM, but its main focus was on information process and product data modeling. So we can tell that people's interest in IDM already existed in the mid-1990s. In year 2000, I started developing a tool and a method that can tightly integrate process and product modeling, or AAM and ARM or AIM, together, so that once you specify information in a process, then you can produce a product model directly from the information collected within a process. So the effort was referred to as Georgia Tech product process to product modeling, because I was at Georgia Tech at the time. Later it became XPPM, Extended Process to Product Modeling, which was developed from 2006 to 2011. In the late 2000s, Jeffrey Wicks and Nick Nisbet saw an importance of having a formal process of defining an IDM. So they wrote an IDM specification, which later became ISO 29481 Part 1 in 2010. It has been updated in 2016. Currently, the IDM schema is being developed as Part 3 of ISO 29481. This is it for this presentation, and thank you for watching the video.